when I was in college, this is a bad car buying experience.
Oh, okay.
When I was in college, this is the early days of Craigslist, and I'm what am I right at that time? I'm probably 20 years old. I find a car. I'm living in Hawaii at the time.
Okay.
I was going to college at UH Manoa. That's where I went to school. Actually, I transferred there from
Is it the Fighting Happy Hours? What do you call it? What was your mascot?
No, they're the Rainbow Warriors.
Oh, okay. Oh, as in
Yeah.
Hawaii? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, UH. Okay.
Yeah. So I'm at Hawaii. I need a car to get around. I see one on Craigslist.
Yeah.
It's a really good deal, like a really, really good deal. But I'm in college and I'm young and I'm stupid. And I'm not even thinking about it.
We've all made that mistake. Yeah.
I think the guy was asking, like, it was an old car, so I thought, it's an older car. It's got a bunch of miles, and it's Hawaii. It's an island. It's not like he can like take it somewhere else. Like if you can't sell it here, it's still here. So I thought, I'm being smart here. So he's asking like $400 for this car, and again, this is 20 years ago.
Okay.
A little less than 20 years, but around that. He's asking $400 for this car, and it is and I was all excited because I was like, I can like carry all my friends in this car. It's gonna be great. All the freedom we're gonna have. We can drive to the beach all the time and stuff. It is it's a wagon. It's a Ford Escort wagon.
Oh yeah.
And back then I was like, this is just like what a cherry sweet ride this is gonna be. I was so excited. I was so excited to get it. So I show up to buy the car, and it's like kind of this young guy, and I'm like that should have been a red flag. Like he was a very young guy. I think he might have even been like a teenager. He's younger than me, and I was like 19 at the time or 20. And I said, all right, well, I want to check it out and drive it. And he goes, well, I can't let you drive it. That's red flag number one that I just totally should have. But I didn't because, again, I'm like, all right, whatever. I thought I could use that as a negotiating point. I was like, okay, we're not going to let me drive it. Then I want to get a sweet deal on this.
Yeah.
Like an idiot. And so he says, you can't drive it because of insurance purposes. We have the car insured for us, but it's not insured for you to drive. And if you get in an accident, then we're on the hook. And that kind of made sense to me as a young, dumb person.
I could see that being somewhat
believable, but definitely. These are all lessons learned. So anybody out there who's thinking about buying a car, just like listen to everything I'm telling you and do the opposite.
Yes.
So the guy says, you can't drive it because of insurance. I say, okay, well, I at least want to see it run, and I want to stand here and watch it run for a while.
Hear the engine, yeah.
Bingo. So he says, okay, I think I can do that for you. Like, that's lowest, yes.
Gee, that's
absolutely.
awful.
Yeah, what a generous fella. So we start the car up. And it starts up, and he lets it run for like 2 minutes. He revs it once. I guess it revs. I guess it's fine. And a little bit of white smoke comes out the back, and he goes, yeah, I haven't started it in a while. So that's why. And I said, I know nothing about engines at this point. And so I go, yeah, it makes sense. And so he turns it off, and I'm sitting there, and I'm like, now in my head, I've already made the decision I'm going to buy this car. Now I'm just like trying to figure out how much I can lowball him. And he's asking $400, which is kind of steep for this thing. And all the doors open. That was nice. It has 4 tires, which is another benefit. And so I tell the guy, I said, listen, I'm a little nervous that you didn't let me drive it.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm going to offer you $300. And he goes, $350. And I was like, deal. I'll do it. Okay. So I give him $350. I peel off a bunch of 20s or whatever. I took out of my student loan money and I bought this stupid car. He then gives me the keys. He gives me the bill of sale, or he gives me the title. He had the title, which is nice. Yeah. He signs the title over to me, and he takes off on a bike. He was on a bike. I don't know why he was on a bike.
Does it fit in the back of the Ford wagon?
I didn't even ask how he got there. So he takes off on a bike, and I'm sitting there, and like
that car isn't going to catch him on a bike. That's why.
I call my buddy. I'm like, hey, I got it. Get the surfboards ready. Let's go to the beach. And so I get in the car and I start it, and I get 2 blocks down the road, and it starts going. Yeah. I'm like, oh no! I'm instantly like, what did I do? Yeah. That's $350.
Right.
That's
a few extra lights come on the dashboard probably for you.
Christmas tree. It was all completely lit up. The whole thing was lit up. So it's smoking badly out of the back. Yeah. So I get into the middle of this intersection, and the car stops moving. The engine's still running, but the car stops moving, and then a bunch of white smoke starts coming up through the air vents. Oh. And then it catches on fire. Wow. And the front of the car is now flames. And I'm like,
buddy, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to laugh.
What? And I'm yelling. I'm like, what? And I'm so upset. And now I'm worried that like this car is going to kill me. And so I get out of the car real fast. I'm standing off to the side. I'm like, put my hands on my head. I call up on the phone. I'm calling this guy because I don't know what I thought was going to happen. If I call this guy, he's going to come back.
Come back and give you back your money and take his flaming car.
On his bike.
Yeah.
Excuse me, your car's on fire. So I call him up, and he doesn't answer the phone. I call him up again, doesn't answer the phone. Meanwhile, middle of the intersection, the car's burning to the ground. Cars around me are honking, going crazy. I then finally get him on the phone, and I say, "Hey, this car's on fire, dude. What'd you sell me this car for?" Like it's his fault. Like I'm the idiot who bought the car. It's all my fault. Right. And he goes, "Yeah, buyer beware, dude. You bought it." And he hangs up the phone. And I was like, instantly realizing,
you have no recourse.
I have no recourse at all.
Yeah. It's a very expensive lesson you just learned.
This is the amazing thing. A police officer comes up. They see the smoke.
Yeah.
They come up. I hear sirens coming. Police officer drives up. Wonderful, nice lady. Works for Honolulu Police Department. She pulls up behind me, and she asks what's going on. "Excuse me, sir, do you realize that your car's flaming and on fire?"
What?
Which I do. And I say, yes, I do. And so she says, she asked about it, and I say, oh my gosh, we're out of time. All right, can I tell you the end of the story when we come back?
Now the rest of the story.
Okay, so I'm sitting there, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I already know the $350's gone. I'm not getting that money back.
Yeah.
Although maybe I'm like a tiny bit hopeful that now the police are here and I explain the situation.
You've been scammed.
They scam me. So I tell the whole story to the police, and she has already called. She's already called the fire department, and she has already called a tow truck. Because, again, the car is
She's
now...
got an intersection to clear, yeah.
The 1991 Ford Escort wagon, sweet car, is now literally melting into the pavement.
Was that in the Arctic Blue with the optional rally fund pack as well?
You think you hate it now. Wait until you drive it. That's like what the guy should have said to me. That would have been so great. I actually would have respected him. I just said, take my money. No, but he didn't. So it did look a little bit like that, though. You're right. Like anybody can look it up. A 1991 Ford Escort wagon. Sweet ride. So, but not this one. It's literally now, it's all plastic.
It's a hot car.
Piece of junk. It is a hot car. It's melting. It's on fire. The police officer is there. It's drawing a crowd. Are you looking it up right now?
I am.
See this sweet vehicle?
Yes.
It's got 4 doors. It's got a hatchback. The back, because it's
Of course, because you're a fun guy. You're going to have fun in this car.
I'm going to have fun. Look at that thing. No, you're looking at the Ford. You want to look at the wagon.
I'm looking at the wagon.
Yeah, look at the wagon. Isn't that sweet? That actually might be mine right there. Doesn't it look horrible?
Give me the Carfax. This thing been on fire.
They all look like they just deserve to be in a field somewhere. Just like shotgun practice. That's what these cars look like. And that's what mine look like. So it's on fire. It's burning. It's kind of nighttime now at this point. Like the sun has already set.
Yeah.
Golden hour is behind us. We're in Hawaii. So it's dark. And the street is now lit up with the warm glow from my 91 Ford Escort that's burning.
I'm sorry to laugh at your misfortune.
And it's my car now because I bought it.
Yeah.
And I tell the police officer this story, and she's just a wonderful cop there. And she asked to see the title, and she goes, "Well, did you call the previous owner and tell them about this?" I said, "Yeah, buyer beware." And she says, "Well, they're not wrong. You did buy the car, and She goes, "Next time, I would recommend driving it first." And I said, yes, like that would be a good idea. Of course, drive it first, obviously.
Why
yeah.
did I think of that?
Oh,
but
so
he
smart.
told me.
Yeah, but he told me it was fine. And she goes, "Well, yeah, I can't prove that he lied to you, and even if he did, he can lie to you. He's not allowed not to lie to you." Yeah. So the fire department has now arrived. The car is put out. They've got a tow truck who's towing it off to the side of the road. Insult to injury, I now have to figure out how to dispose of this car.
Right.
So I've paid $350, but the cost of the tow truck, which is like $175.
That's on you.
I have to go take this car somewhere to get it disposed of. The tow truck's not just going to take it for free. They're going to need to take it somewhere. They're just going to hook up and drag it around indefinitely. So all of this is just adding up in my head. I'm just like, oh my gosh, what a headache. This is horrible. Why did I need to buy a car? Just keep driving the mopeds. And so she asked to look at the title, and she sees it. Here's where I got so lucky, unbelievably lucky. She looks down at the title, and she notices on the bottom that he was in such a rush because this guy knew that this car was a lemon, just a piece of junk. He probably knew, too, it was going to catch on fire.
Oh, he knew where this thing was
Which is why he showed up on a bike. All these things now are adding up in my head. Like,
if he'd have pulled up in the car, there would have been white smoke and flames.
If he'd pulled up in the car, then he would be dead because the car would be on fire. Yes, you're absolutely right.
Yes.
So all these things are now making sense. The equations are all adding up in my head. So she looks down at the title, and she goes, She goes, oh, I noticed you didn't sign the title here. Your name actually isn't tied to this car yet. And I said, well, I paid $350 for it, you know. And she goes, well, legally, what you have here is a title that doesn't have your name. You have no contact information. This car clearly has not been registered in your name yet.
Right.
The DMV in Hawaii does not know that this car is yours. This is all his information. He has signed it and he has dated it, but he didn't write any of your information on this. And I said, okay, I'm still not catching on because I'm a dum-dum.
Right.
And she goes, what I would recommend doing if I were you, she goes, first in the future, make sure you test drive all your vehicles. Make sure you know who you're buying from. But in this case, what you can actually do is if you want to go ahead and just stick this in the glove box and walk away right now, we never had this conversation. She goes, now what I'm going to have to do, because I'm the officer arriving on the scene, I'm going to have to figure out who owns this vehicle, and I'm going to have to make sure that they get it towed to the appropriate place. I'm going to have to make sure that they're responsible for the cost associated with putting the fire out, towing the vehicle,
burned vehicle away,
taking the vehicle, disposing of it wherever.
Wow. This is great.
All because the guy was so eager to get out of there that I didn't have time to sign the title, and he didn't sign the title. I mean, he didn't put my name on it. If he had just taken 2 extra seconds to put my name on it, I would have been screwed. So I said, are you serious? And she says, yeah, go for it. So the car's been put out at this point, super smoky mess. I open up the door. I shove it in what's left of the glove box.
Did you wipe your prints off?
I shut the door.
First?
No, I didn't have to do anything because the lady cop is standing right there. What an angel this lady was. Isn't that the nicest thing in the world?
That's what good police work is, because you had already been the victim once.
Yep.
And she knew that this gentleman, who wasn't illegal to lie to you, it was inappropriate, if not illegal, for him not to complete a legitimate sale of the vehicle.
There you go.
Bingo. Oh,
there
that's
you go.
Great.
So then I walk back to, you know, I was a mile and a half off campus at this point. I happily walk back to campus. Now I'm out $350, but I'm floating on air because I was going to be out a lot more than that.
Sure
having disposed of this vehicle.
Probably twice that, if not more.
So then easily. And so what she's going to do at that point, she has his phone number. I gave her all the information, so she's going to call him up. And I'm just sitting there in my head, like thinking about the wish fulfillment, the comeuppance that this guy's going to get for trying to screw me, the instant karma. We're such a culture of instant karma these days. Way more so now that we have like YouTube. We can actually watch instant karma videos. But this was like I was living in instant karma, and I'm walking home, and I'm like just imagining in my head him getting the call from the Honolulu Police Department as she's informing him that your vehicle, which is now on fire at this block so-and-so, you need to come pick it up, and there's all these costs associated with it, or wherever they towed it off to. And it was such a wonderful ending to a horrible story.
So this guy didn't say when the Honolulu Police Department called this guy, oh, no, I sold that vehicle to a young college student.
I didn't stick around for that. She said,
and that guy never reached out to you or never called? Oh.
I got a couple calls from a number from him.
Okay.
I didn't pick up this time.
Okay. Yeah. Let the seller beware, buddy.
Seller beware. Oh, I should have said that. That would have been money. Oh my gosh, that would have been so great. I didn't think of that at the time.
Oh, that's wonderful.
Isn't that a great ending?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry that you got burned by a charlatan.
Literally
obviously,
burned.
Yeah. But I'm glad that you ran into somebody, in the law enforcement officer who had a good conscience and a good heart. Yeah.
Cops are great. I love cops. I love them. So thank you to this cop 20 years later. Thank you to this cop.
Did you tell the story to your folks? Of course, you told your dad about that?
Yeah, I told my dad about it.
What did your dad say?
Well, he's relieved that I didn't end up with a hunk of junk. Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah. No, it's the dad advice.
Yeah.
He goes, you got lucky, kid. And that's it.
Wow.
That's it. I just got real lucky. So good for that cop, and thank you so much.